You guys may have missed it, but I recently did a stream where I unboxed my YouTube plaque. But since most of you probably didn't see that stream, let's go look at our plaque now. Look at this beauty right here. Special thanks to all you guys again. 100K. Thank you so much. Ad time. I've been using OneFootball since 2017 when I was a wee little sophomore, so trust me when I say this is the best app for football news and results. Follow your favorite clubs and national teams and know exactly when they're playing based on your time zone. You can even get live feeds for matches you couldn't watch at home. Sick of that pesky manager not performing? Well, luckily for you, OneFootball will make sure you're the first person to know when he's sacked. All you have to do is turn on notifications and boom, all the latest news for your club or even national team. I personally love this app because I can follow any and all leagues and competitions that I'm interested in. So that way I know all the future matchups coming up and maybe I can watch some and plan ahead. I can review all the results and even the stats of every single match that has been played and even the league table. And remember, this is all accessible on just one single app. And with OneFootball, you can even follow players. You can now also watch game highlights and even stream some matches live all across the world. And the best part about all of this, the app is completely free. So drop everything you're doing right now, click the link in the description, and download OneFootball to absolutely transcend your footballing experiences. Welcome to the video where I take my 10 favorite Premier League shirts of this season, rank them in a top 10s video, and then let you guys judge my terrible tastes. Now, some of you guys suggested that I do a tier list or a rankings video for the Premier League kits of this season. I'm actually going to be doing that on a Twitch stream. I feel like it'd be a lot more fun to do it that way because then I'm interacting with people while grading these kits or putting them in tier lists. All I'm going to say now is just follow the Twitch and then I'll give you guys an actual date of when I'm going to do this once I release the top 10 worst Premier League shirts. But enough blabbering. On to number 10, which is the Nottingham Forest home shirt. Nottingham Forest returned to the Premier League for the first time in 23 years and still have more Champions League trophies than Arsenal, Manchester City, and the entirety of Liga. Shout out my guy Rads, by the way. Glad to see him finally get to experience the Premier League for the first time in his life. The Forest home shirt on the surface just looks like a plain red shirt, but what sells it for me personally are the sleeves. There's a subtle pattern inspired by the famous Trent Bridge, a central landmark that connects the sporting district with the rest of Nottingham. And as everyone knows, I am a fool for those historic designs, but this one's different. It just looks very clean and blends so elegantly into the shirts, and that's why it's my number 10. Number 9, the West Ham home shirt. West Ham make the list again with another touch of modernism to a retro look. This time, the Hammers take inspiration from a 1991 design, where they apply a grungy touch to the shoulder stripes, which complements the claret base really well. You might not notice on the first look, but the club badge is also monochrome, which I really like. One thing though, I wish West Ham added a little bit more of that grungy design to maybe even the sleeves, but overall, still a nice shirt. Number 8, Southampton away. I still don't know whether I love this shirt or hate it, but for now, I quite like it. Unlike the home shirt design that was stolen, the away design is the complete opposite with a very bold pattern that takes up the entire base of the shirts. I mean, the slogan itself for the kit launch was "Bold is Brave." The inspiration of the design comes from the Solents, a strait between the Isle of Wight and Great Britain, which is very close to where St. Mary's Stadium is. However, to me, it's more so the Great Wave of Kanagawa shirts. Jokes aside, I quite like the waves and the differing shades of turquoise representing how Southampton will be at the surface at one stage of the season and then the very depths at the next, only to somehow do just enough to survive, which is represented by the gold. You guys like my old IB student levels of bullshitting? Number 7, Crystal Palace's third shirt. Crystal Palace switches from Puma to Macron this season, and already the new shirt maker is impressing. Palace have had black shirts in the past, but this one just hits different. The sash design is very unique with the usage of blue and red brushstrokes, and there's some white trim with strips of red and blue on the edge. The kit also has really good potential to look absolutely sick at night. Overall, it's a clean shirt that I think would even work in public, which is always something clubs try to achieve nowadays. Number 6, Manchester City's home shirts. After approaching approaching the last few seasons with a more modernistic approach. In 2021-22, City paid homage to the 10-year anniversary of the infamous Aguero goal in 2012. And how fitting that on the final day, City would win the title 3-2 after being 2-1 down against Aston Villa. This year, City have decided to throw it back even farther, this time to the successes of the late 1960s, where they pay homage to the late club icon Colin Bell. The shirt is pretty simple, with a light blue base and a simple tri-colored collar design. Also, the red part of the trim isn't just a random color, it was actually half of the color of the socks back in 1968. Overall, I think it's fulfilled everything that I thought was missing in last season's home shirts. A very good improvement overall for Manchester City. Number 5. Arsenal's home shirts. Arsenal's mid-Puma shirts are a distant memory nowadays. And thank God, because I don't miss them at all. I do miss Champions League football though. Adidas, since taking over the reins of the famous red and white, have blown fans' expectations out of the water. And they've done it yet again for the 2022-23 season by taking us kid enjoyers to the future through the past. Classic red base, white sleeves. Then you got the 90s type beat collar with the lightning pattern inspired by the 94-96 home shirts. It is everything an Arsenal shirt should be and more without being too extra. Number 4. Bournemouth's home shirts. In 2015, when Bournemouth made their first appearance in England's top flight, they introduced themselves to the world with one of the most exciting playstyles that season. You didn't even need to watch the full matches because highlights were still able to encapsulate that chaos football Eddie Howe gave us. However though, 5 years later, Bournemouth was relegated in 2020 and Howe called it quits. But just 2 years later, the Cherries are now back in the Premier League. The figurehead may be gone, but their home shirt of this upcoming season captures that mid-2010s young Eddie Howe energy you saw at every home game. Instead of the traditional stripes of the past, the Cherries have gone for the Dortmund Puma approach with some flashy lightning strikes. The jagged patterns are supported by a red base, and together it creates a very unique shirt that I really like a lot. Number 3. Manchester City's away shirts. Just like the home shirt, the away design throws it back to the older glory days. The red and black stripes design is actually more iconic than people think. Back in 1970, Manchester City won the European Cup Winners' Cup in this strip, becoming the first English club to win both a European trophy and domestic cup in the same season. Since City already had a similar design in 2011-12, Puma for this upcoming campaign made the stripes more diagonal, and it works really well. What completes the shirts are these hints of yellow, and the logo itself is even a monochrome yellow. It's a perfect touch to the shirts. It's such a simple concept, but for some reason I just absolutely love this shirt. The question though is, will this design that once won a European trophy help Manchester City finally achieve the ultimate glory? Number 2. Crystal Palace's home shirts. Since the abominations of 2020-21, Crystal Palace have upped their game significantly. This year's home shirt, however, takes it about 15 levels. It's beautiful. Stripes are hard to manipulate, but Macron in their first year with Palace nailed it. The brushstroke pattern with the different shades of blue and red represent this new era of Palace we're seeing, where no longer are they satisfied with being a traditional mid-table club. In these last 2 to 3 years, we've seen somewhat of a slow and steady youth revolution thanks to this insane scouting system the club has acquired. But going back to the kit, you add the thick white trim with the tiny blue and red strips at the end, and it's one of the best shirts of the season. Just ignore that it's a rip of Hajduk's 21-22 kits. And finally, number 1, Arsenal's away shirts. We are in fact drip merchants. And that's okay, at least we're something. Arsenal's away shirt is a work of art. You have a black base with touches of gold on the logos. The gold itself is more of a darker metallic gold, more so an older gold. You also have the silver Adidas stripes which blend into the shirt very cleanly, and then you have the eye candy that makes this shirt so special, that abstract optical illusion pattern that spells out AFC. As an Arsenal fan, I try not to be biased towards my club, but I can't not put this at number 1. It's the best Premier League shirt of the new season, and honestly one of the best in all of Europe for 2022. But that was my top 10 best Premier League shirts of the new season. You can leave your top 10s below in the comments. I'd love to see them. Of course, we'll have the polar opposites, the top 10 worst Premier League shirts, which I'm looking very forward to making. And of course, a massive shout out to all our patrons, including Jason TD, Janos Balas, Florian Lengo, Milioe009, Alex Rod, Amin Suamez, Arnolfo Martinez Jr., Soloto, Daniel Ortiz, Darkwolf476, Edgar AS, Francisco Hernandez, Jax206, Joseph Bonfante, Juan Leras, Kev FM, Mika Deichmeister, Nguyen Mintang, Parafocus, Rory Byrne, The Motor Drive, Tomikis, Trevor Batson, Triple GK, Vanilla Mexican 17, Victor, Ariel Flor, Chris Damasceno, Declan Malloy, Emmett Shea, Lewis, Mohammed Albokhail, MX Wee, Patrick Barley, President Pulisic, Tom Little, and unbroken persona. If you'd like to join the Patreon, there'll be a link down below and up in the annotations. You can follow my Twitter if you'd like, follow my Instagram if you want, follow my TikTok, trying to get to 15,000 there, and of course, you can follow my semi-active Twitch. But until then, I'll see you guys.